We got a question from YouTube, actually. Who would Zach choose for Des Nations team manager and riders this year?
Great question.
Yeah. I mean, the outdoor. We still need to see how the outdoors unfolds, so it's early. But
based on what we've seen, it's a great question.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen, riders-wise, Eli, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second spot is kind of up for grabs as far as the 450 goes, between Barsha, Sexton, Jason. That would probably be my other three for open or whatever. And then 250, I think you got to wait a little bit because I think Justin Cooper is a really good choice because he's a great starter and he's fast. So I think if he comes back and is good, I think that would be a great choice. Or maybe even having one of those 450 guys that I just mentioned, Barsha, Sexton, or not really Jason. I would say he's a little bit too old to be stepping down, but have one of those guys step down to ride the 250 would be cool, kind of like old school.
Yeah, I don't know why we don't do that. I've yelled and screamed about that. We used to do it. You guys would drop down and ride the small bikes all the time. Bob Hanna did it. Jeff Ward did it. Johnny O did it. And other nations that have beat us have done that. And we just – like Justin Barsha on a 250F, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He rides his 450 right now like a 250, So, no problem. Like, put him on a 250F. Watch him crush it, right? So,
do you think it's rider ego? Zach, do you think I would think that you would do that, like to me, knowing your pride in our country and knowing the honor it is to ride and represent the country in that event. I would see you certainly taking a 250 ride to go do that, right? But why do you think they don't? I wonder.
I don't know. I think that it's a lot for some of the teams to make that move or change or whatever you want to say. I know that probably sounds ridiculous to some people, but that's probably a lot of it. And also, those guys are getting paid a lot of money to win 450 races during the summer, and at some point you got to start riding the 250 during the week, which in my opinion isn't bad. Like after a while you've been grinding 30-minute motos on your 450 for 14 weeks, like take a couple weeks on the 250. Like, you see Jeffrey doing that quite often now, going around the 250F just to like kind of change it up and feel those feelings again, like with the light bike and all those things. So to me, I don't know. I think it would be cool.
Listen, for team manager, Zach's not going to say this because he's working for Husky now, but Zach would be a great team manager. Roger needs to go. I was talking about this with somebody else. Love Raj. He's done so much for the sport and so much for the country. Team's lost a long time now. It's very political. You can see how political it is on some of his choices over the years. You can see that last time we were at Redbud, Team Cowie had their own radios. They did not interact with Roger and everybody else. Like, it's just time. It's just time. Like any sports team, and Randy, I know you're a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
We've lost so many years in a row, and it's not all on Roger, obviously, but just it is time for a change in that program. I will beat that drum to death, and I would tell Roger that to his face. Sorry, Raj, it ain't working anymore. Thank you for everything you've done. Come to the race, be an ambassador, be our guy, but we need a team manager here who's going to unite these guys, think outside the box, work with everybody involved, and not make it so political and not have other teams hate you. Zach won't say anything, but
what I will say to that, I've worked with Roger in the past, right? When we worked with Factory Suzuki, but what I would say is that Roger certainly moved up within the KTM group, right?
So Ian Harrison now manager. Yeah.
Yep. So I think he's a couple of steps removed or moved up from right from true race team management. So I think that's another reason why you could look into, all right, well, who's...
Oh, you mean like an easy out for the AMA? To be like, hey, Raj, like you're...
No, I'm just saying that maybe he's not as directly connected with, like, the day-to-day of team management, because now he's at a higher level within those three brands, and he's earned that. He should be there, right? But...
It's my thing.
And I appreciate you clarifying, talking about, like, the ongoing losing and the teams. I thought you were talking about the Leafs. So I appreciate you bringing it back to
motocross.
Motocross GP.
Yeah,
okay,
that one hurts. That one hurts. Really. Zach Osborne on the show brought to you by the folks at Cherbys USA.